So there's been a bit of a theme so far with my new channel, if you guys haven't been able to tell, in both my proper videos, and that is in both videos, I found a way to take the piss out of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Not really going to be able to do it in this one, because he had nothing to do with Madame Web. So I'm just going to pop this photo up. Everyone on the internet has been going crazy about this movie the last week or two. I'm not even sure how long it's been out at this point. I've lost all track of time. See what I've done there? Time travel movie. Or is it a time travel? It's not really a time travel movie, but, you know, time plays a key factor in this movie. I hate explaining my own jokes. That's when I know they're really not that funny at all. Madame Web, everyone on the internet is talking about it, and I thought I'd come on and share my 2 cents because I got to see it last night. And I will say, one fun thing about me seeing it last night was that I got to see it in 4DX, and I'd only done that once, and it was during COVID. It was a long time ago, so it was fun to get the 4DX experience. And I say I'll probably never do it again because it was actually really distracting from the film, even if the film was a complete turd like this film was. But I want to try and make this a bit different to how everyone else is talking about this film on the internet, because they're probably going to go in depth on the plot points and where the writing went wrong and blah 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 blah. And I want to say how, not to be boastful, but I had a pretty strong feeling from the word go that this film was going to be trash. And then through the promotion of this movie, how that kind of steered my theory in the right direction. So let's start off way back when this film was announced. Everyone was very confused. They're like, really, we're going to do a Madame Web film? And I didn't even know who the character was, and I'm not even going to pretend to. I'm not going to pretend to know any of these other Spider Women. I didn't know any of them. I still don't, because this film doesn't do a great job at giving you these characters in a very faithful way from what I'm hearing. The Sony superhero universe has been a complete disaster for me. Let's take a look at their first film, Venom, which has got a whopping 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, some people really tried to defend this film, and if you want to defend scenes like this... then I say that you're really trying hard, because there are a couple fun action sequences in there, but this film is just not very good, really. It isn't. Following that up, we got the sequel with one of the worst titles I've ever heard. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. My god. You know, we've already butchered Venom. Now let's butcher Carnage as well. Why not? These two iconic Spider-Man villains. Another really bad film. This one, for some reason, scored 57 though on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm not sure how it got a higher score than the first one, because I don't like the first one much, but the first one is definitely better. This film is a sloppy, rushed piece of shit, which again gives you no good character development and absolutely butchers Carnage at the same time. Then we have the world famous Morbius, Jared Leto's outing, this vampire Spider-Man villain. He did not need his own movie. This screams of desperation. I'm not sure what Sony were thinking here, whether eventually they'd get him in a team with Venom and maybe Madame Web and Kraven and all these other ones they're planning. But this guy could not lead his own movie, and this film was so dull, so boring. It had one of the worst scripts I've ever seen. I mean, everyone who's seen it knows it's bad. I have yet to see anyone on the internet try and stick up for this movie, because I think it's gotta be impossible, right? 15% to Morbius. Yeah, really, really bad. So, we already knew that this Sony Spider-Man universe wasn't going in a great direction. And this year we're getting 3. Madame Web is out and it's already on a roll at 13%. Kraven the Hunter is coming later this year. You know, thank God the Spider-Man 2 game come out and we got to see a decent version of Kraven before Sony absolutely butcher him in this movie. And then we're going to end the year on a high with Venom 3. I mean, the first two haven't been very good, so my hopes for this one are really high. But then we got to talk about the cast and crew for this one now. The cast, of course, are great. You've got fantastic actresses in this one, and we'll come back to them, but I just wanted to highlight that I don't blame them too much at the minute for the problems which are about to occur. So S.T. Clarkson is reigning this film. She's directing, and I had a look at her filmography, and to be honest, I actually hadn't seen any of her films, so not a great sign. But I saw that she had directed some episodes of The Defenders, the Netflix Marvel show, which is probably the most forgettable out of all of them, because people will go out their way, I'm sure, to say, no, it has to be Iron Fist. So, well, at least Iron Fist was remembered for being so bad. The Defenders, I forget that these characters ever came together at one point. Now, there's a few writers attached to this one, which is always a problem for me. I always find that when you get a few writers attached to one project, that it can get a bit sloppy. But someone called Burt Sharpless was attached to this film, and it must be highlighted how bad his filmography is at this point. Like, I really question Hollywood studios like this when they keep hiring writers like this. So his first film was Dracula Untold, which got a 25% on Rotten Tomatoes. Not good at all. But it's like, okay, you know, let's give this guy another chance. He then comes out with The Last Witch Hunter, which got a 18%. At this point, Hollywood should have probably gone, we're really sorry, but, you know, this isn't for you. You're clearly not great at this. But they gave him another chance. They let him do Gods of Egypt, which got a 14%. At this point, I'd be screaming if I was a fan of a project this man got attached to. The Power Rangers 2017 film he also done, and this is his highest score. He climbed to a whopping 51% here. Still not great, but a big improvement for this guy, so we'll give him a round of applause on that one. Then comes his Marvel attempts, with Morbius at 15%, and Sony thought, wow, yeah, let's keep him on. Let's do his script that he's written. Let's do his story for Madame Web. And at the minute, it's sitting on 13%, lower than Morbius. It's fucking lower than Morbius. How have they managed that? Morbius was like this huge meme last year or the year before. I can't even remember. It was this huge meme of this film which is just so bad. People going to see it just to laugh through it. And they've made one that's apparently worse. You gotta laugh at this point. Sony. What the? Now, there's also a lot of really horny men out there who are just going to this film to see the 4 lead actresses. And I've seen them on YouTube, I've seen them on Facebook, I've seen them everywhere going, yeah, I'm not going for the plot, I'm going for these 4. Because I can't wait to see them in their Spider-Man outfits. I don't want to burst your bubble here, but you're not going to get much of that, to be honest. And now let's talk about the actors in this, because I've seen Sydney Sweeney say in an interview that she can't wait to team up with Spider-Man and stuff, and they thought they were in the MCU. They genuinely did. It's not that hard to tell. They thought they were coming into this huge expanded universe. Even if the film weren't great, they would come up and make cameos in other movies. It'd be good paychecks for them every now and then. That's what they're thinking. That's obviously what they're thinking. It's a much more popular universe, even with the current state of things, with some pretty meh films being released inside the MCU. It's still a much more popular universe. It's something that they would probably want to be in. It's good, easy paychecks. So I felt very sorry that at some point they all probably come to the realization that that is not the case, and they're stuck in this universe where this is probably going to be their only appearance, and it's going to be a real shit stain on their CV of movies. Now, I think Dakota Johnson realised this pretty soon in the game, because apparently she fired her agent very soon after getting this gig. And also, out of the 4 lead actresses in this, she's the only one which you could tell gave up. In this movie, some of her dialogue is so bad, but the way she delivers it is terrible as well. And here's the thing with Dakota Johnson, because we all know she's done some bad films. She's done those 50 Shades of Grey's pieces of shit. So I watched the first one and it was so bad, I couldn't bring myself to watch the other 2.
It's just beyond this door.
What is?
My playroom.
Like your Xbox and stuff?
Since then, she's really tried to revive her career a bit. She's done some really good films like The Peanut Butter Falcon, Bad Times at the El Royale, and a couple others, you know, which I'm not going to mention now because there's actually quite a few. Cha-Cha Real Smooth. Sorry, there's some that I just feel like I need to mention. But anyway, she's got some really good films under her belt now, and she's been really good in them. She's a great actress. Here, she's back to that 50 Shades of Grey level of acting where you could tell she did not give a shit. Like, she is straight up awful in this movie, but I don't think she cares, and the reason I believe that is just due to some of her interviews. Seeing her try to promote this character and talk about her like this.
Madame Web is a truly dynamic character. I haven't actually seen the movie.
Haven't you? When you go to a premiere, do you sit there or do you go out the back door and go to a nice restaurant?
I'll go to have dinner.
What do you see for the future of Madame Web?
Well, it is a standalone world. Honestly, it depends if Sony's happy with how the movie does.
Do you know or have a hope of like who the Peter Parker is in this world?
I have no idea. Marvel movies are the most confusing. Like, having to know past storylines is so confusing, so I'm really grateful to be in one where you don't really have to know anything.
Come on, she doesn't care. Have you seen her trying to name the Tom Holland movies as well?
Spider-Man Here he comes.
Here he comes. That's
That's
yeah.
number 1.
Yep.
Spider-Man, and he's back. And the other one, the last one is the Goblet of Spider-Man.
Great research there. Great research. She didn't even have to watch the movies, but surely she should know what the Spider-Man films are called, since she's playing a Spider-Man villain. And as I say, I feel bad for the other 3 actresses in this, because I actually do think they were trying on set, and they've been trying to promote it. They've been enthusiastic. Sydney Sweeney, Isabella Mercedes, and Kelsey O'Connor. They're absolutely trying their best, and to them I say, bless them. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you're going to be attached to this film. It's going to be on your CVs forever. But look, they've all got exciting projects coming up. You know, Isabella's just been signed to The Last of Us Season 2. They're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. Woo! There's a few other really good actors in this as well, including Adam Scott and Emma Roberts, who are just completely wasted in this. Their acting capabilities is far stronger than what they're allowed to do with this film. And then I guess I'll briefly talk about the villain, who's played by Tahar Ramin. Apologise if I pronounced that wrong. I haven't seen this guy in anything before, I don't think, and he gives one of the worst performances I've ever seen. The worst thing is, though, I think this man was actually probably trying, which does not help. His villain is just so dumb, stupid, makes no sense. His powers are bland and boring. Really, really bad. So, yeah, I think from the word go, this film was always going to be a bit of a disaster. But, you know, could they write a decent movie or direct it in a decent way? No. No. Why would they do that? They could just promote it with 4 extremely attractive women and go, yep, this is the only reason you need to see it. We'll put them in their Spidey suits in the trailer. That'll get people in. Not thinking, you know, people are going to go in. They're going to see that it's a trash film. They're going to see they're in their Spidey suits for, honest to God, less than 2 minutes. They'll put that online and everyone will go, I won't bother then. Nah, won't see that. I'll go watch the film about the ducks instead.
That is not your mother.
You know, it's just very embarrassing that they thought they could get away with putting this out and promoting it in such a stupid way. Just fully lying to the audiences about what they might get in this film is quite hilarious. I'd say the film itself, I know everyone on the internet is talking about it, so I will be brief. It's one of the worst scripts I've ever witnessed on the big screen. It is one of the most gloomy, boring, dull films to look at. If you want to talk about the cinematography, I wouldn't bother because it is piss poor. The score and music is just as dull and painfully average as it gets, and the actors, while some are trying, some aren't, they've got so little to work with, they can't really do much with it anyway. And yeah, just full of plot holes. It's nonsensical. It's just so stupid. It's terrible. It's terrible. Of course it's terrible. I will say this though, in the debate of what was worse, Morbius or this, I think Morbius was probably worse. It was more boring. It was just one centre character. At least here, there were a few more action sequences, and there were 4 characters to bounce off each other. Not that they'd done much with that. So yeah, I'd say it's ever so slightly better than Morbius, but not much in it. Guys, Madame Web is probably as bad as you've been hearing. It's a bad movie. It's trash. It's awful. It's probably going to be a contender for one of the worst of the year, and I can see it picking up quite a few Razzies whenever they are. Sony, stop. Make Kraven and Venom 3 your last ones of these. Please stop butchering these characters, because they're not only getting butchered, they're losing you so much money at this point. Morbius did, now Madame Web, and I bet that Kraven will as well. For some reason people go to the Venom films. I don't know why. Anyway, yeah, guys, Madame Web sucks. Go see the Duck movie instead.
Don't worry, Chump's gotcha.
So listen, Chump.
What? Did you just call me?
Sorry, I thought your name was Chump.
Yeah, Chump. Yeah, that's my name. What?
Right, so listen, Chump.
What did you just call me?
I'm sorry, is everyone else hearing Chump? What? Go!
2 hours later.
Let's get the duck in the oven first. Set a bit of salt in there, please. Then some pepper. Thank you.